Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about Bleach again, and today in particular we are going to be talking about Kazui Kurosaki and his involvement in the Howls from Hell arc, because he's going to be really important. Not the main character, which I'm kind of glad about, but he is going to be very important, and I think I'm going to eventually feel pretty sad for him. Before I start, make sure to go and watch my other video that I basically discussed who we might see coming from Hell. Also, spoilers, if you haven't read the chapter, Bleach has a new chapter. Go read it, come back here, watch this, watch the other video about who we might see coming back from Hell. Doesn't matter which order. Make sure to watch them both. I'll leave a link in the description or a card or something like that. Okay, so just a quick rundown of what we're going to be talking about. So, in the beginning of the chapter, we get a nice, well, not a very nice little story about somebody. We don't know who is actually narrating. It could be Kazui, it could be somebody else entirely, but it's a story about two goldfish that an owner has, and how one is bigger and one's smaller, and then the bigger one dies. And at first, the owner is sad, but it turns out that the smaller fish actually ends up flourishing from the new space that it has. And there's kind of a morbid line of something along the lines of maybe it was a good thing that the big fish died. That kind of cuts to Kazui waking up and kind of sneaking out of his room at night and jumping onto two fish. Now, the reason why I'm harping on this just a little bit, I'm not going to talk about it too much, but I think Kazui Kurosaki might have a little bit of a connection to Ukitake. I don't know how exactly, I don't know where it's going to go, but the reason I bring it up is because of the two fish, and the reason I bring it up is because Sogyo no Kotowari, his Ukitake Zanpakuto, is called, well, depending on your translation, either Law of the Twin Fish, which is Viz's translation of it, or Truth of Pisces, which is, it's two fish. He has two fish for his Zanpakuto names, and considering that he was a major factor in this chapter, it wouldn't be terribly surprising if he had something to do with Kazui's current situation. It could also just be a symbolic thing. Who knows? I think James Hansen is like a really big Bleach YouTuber, I guess. I want to say I saw him saying something along the lines of like, maybe the twin fish, like the goldfish dying is like symbolic of like Soul Society and Hell, and maybe it's like, oh, now that like super strong people in the Soul Society are dead, Hell is now getting stronger, and because they sent all their spiritual energy there. It could be multiple things, but I just wanted to kind of throw that out. So after he gets a ride from these like ghost fish, he ends up meeting a ghost that he's been hanging out with, and I kind of like that because it's kind of reminiscent of Ichigo hanging out with ghosts at the very beginning of the series. It's kind of actually sweet. I like Kazui. I think he's kind of a sweet kid, which is why I don't think it'll be like, oh, he's evil, but I definitely think he's naive, and that'll kind of go into the next part of what I'm about to say. So more or less, he's hanging out with this ghost, but he can't hang out with the ghost all the time. So he's like, listen, I can't hang out with you, but I'll take you somewhere where you can basically hang out with other people. And he takes him to the shrine and does like a whole prayer thing with he's clapping and he's powing, and then a portal opens up. Now, the tricky part here is that it's kind of implying to us, the readers at first, that he's opening up a portal to like the Soul Society. He says, oh, don't worry, everything's chill. Everyone is over there. Everyone's here. You won't be lonely. Don't worry. And like hell butterflies come out of it and like you're whatever. So you're thinking, okay, this is another way to get spirits to the Soul Society other than just the regular Kanso, you smacking them on the head kind of thing. It's even more confusing because then we immediately cut to the Soul Society. So I think that we, the readers, are trying to trick us. Kubo's trying to trick us, the readers, into thinking that everything's chill. However, as we progress through the story, we eventually see the same portal that Kazui Kurosaki opened up. Also, there's weird eyes and stuff that when he opens it up, it's really kind of weird. It's weird, but you don't really think about it until later on. But later on, we see Xylopero Grans come out of this a very similar portal, and the eyes that we see at the beginning of the chapter are basically like the skeleton eyes that are on the doors of hell. So it's definitely not the Soul Society that he's sending these spirits, or is sending this spirit in particular. That kind of brings me to my next question. Has Kazui been sending spirits, unknowingly I assume, to hell, thinking that it's the Soul Society? That could really mess him up when he finds out that he's actually been sending them to, like, their doom. Now, there's multiple questions here. Who told him about this? Was he specifically told about this portal, or did he just happen upon it and somehow whatever, and he just assumed? He's a young kid, so there's a lot of naivete. He's very gullible, so he doesn't know exactly the ins and outs of everything, I'm sure. So we don't know who told him about this portal. I assume it's somebody that's been lying to him. It's probably not Ukitake, but given the fish connection, I'm a little hesitant to think that maybe, like, listen, we don't know what the captains and the good guys that are sent to hell are going to be like. They could be evil in this scenario, whether they're mind controlled or they're just angry in general. It's hard to know for sure, but it's possible he kind of got in contact with Kazui and has been, like, doing some weird stuff. Maybe Ukitake's final evil this time. Everybody thought Ukitake was going to be, like, the new bad guy when the Fullbring arc was coming around. Obviously, that wasn't the case, but maybe he's evil now? Hard to say, but it could also just be a brand new character. We shall see. In any event, Kazui has definitely been tricked into opening up this portal with teeth. It's got literal teeth, and he doesn't think anything's wrong. Okay. But he's been tricked opening up this portal and potentially sending a bunch of ghosts through. How many spirits has he actually sent through this? Because I think there's a real chance that he goes to hell, for whatever reason, and ends up seeing a bunch of ghosts or spirits that he's unwittingly marched to, like, a horrific life, thinking that he's been sending them to the Soul Society this entire time. Maybe a bunch of them have been turned into the, like, beasts or ghouls from hell. Maybe some of them are, like, angry at him, and he's been sending these spirits, or at least this one spirit. I assume there's more, given his familiarity with opening up the portal. I assume he sent a bunch of spirits through this portal thinking that they're going to be, like, safe, and when he finally comes in contact with them again in hell, which I assume he will go to, it's not going to be good. Now, this could go one of two ways. He's either completely possessed or something is weird. Maybe he's, like, I don't know, being mind controlled or something like that. I'm using mind control a lot to describe some of these characters because it's like, why else would a good character do bad things? I don't know, but, like, it's either that or he's being tricked. I'm more leaning on the side of trickery because he's so young, and not actually being mind controlled. That being said, there is some weird business. If you look at him in the last panel of the chapter, and he's chasing some hell butterflies, you see that, like, so he always has these, like, all the characters in some way kind of have this, but, like, there's, like, a reflective light or whatever. It's just, like, the light shining in their eyes. And it's just, like, it's an artistic thing to show, like, whatever light is hitting their eyes is reflecting. However, by the end of the chapter, we see, like, the gobbledygook, like, eyes from hell reflecting in his eyes. So there's something definitely off about him, whether he knows it or not. Something kind of tangential to this whole thing is the hell butterfly thing. Xylopero Grans, I don't know why I'm saying his whole name, brings up the point of, like, hell butterflies. Have you never considered why the name of them is hell butterfly and not, like, something else, like Soul Society butterfly? I don't know. We see a lot of these with Kazui Kurosaki. I'm saying his whole name too. It's weird. We see a lot of them around him. When he opens up the portal to hell, to come flying out. Then he is seen later on chasing, or at least running, and then like a couple flying in the air as he's looking up at them. The weird thing about hell butterflies is prior to this chapter, our understanding of them is that they are supposed to help guide Soul Reapers to and from the Soul Society so that they do not get lost in the Dangai Precipice world, or like whatever, like through the Senkaimon they don't get lost. But I guess the question is, are they actually, maybe they're grown or like birthed in hell, and the reason why they can't, they help the Soul Reapers get from one world to the other is because they're like warding off all of the other like crap. Maybe they're actually demonic in a way, and they just don't know because maybe they aren't demonic when they come through the portal from hell to any other world, but maybe we see a giant like evil butterfly in hell. There's really not a whole lot to go on as far as Kazui and his involvement until we see more of him interacting with any other characters, because all we've really seen him interact with is Cone, who, that's kind of a jokey, comical duo thing going on with them. I really like it, actually. And the other ghosts that he's sending through this portal, probably to their, like, death? But we don't really know a whole lot about this. Something is weird going on, but it's hard to know for sure. To summarize, my thoughts on this are Kazui is being manipulated, maybe not like physically, not like, oh, he's like possessed, but he's being tricked into basically feeding hell spirits that otherwise might go to the Soul Society. For what ends? Who knows? Maybe it's just more energy and food, literal food for the beasts of hell, or the ghouls and the bad guys. Could be. It could also be whoever the bad guy is, or bad guys are ultimately. It could be that they're trying to turn the tides of the, like, how full hell is. If hell continues to fill up, regardless of who the spirits are, maybe that like makes it much more easy for them to, again, rip open the gates and get through. So this could be them being like, okay, well, even if it's just a little bit at a time, it's better than nothing. And then obviously they have the captains there that all got sent to hell. So who knows? It could be way more involved. It could be less involved. Either way, I think that we are going to see a scene in which Kazui goes to hell, and he ends up seeing the like crybaby spirit again, and maybe the crybaby spirit guy is all messed up and he's like turning into a monster, and that it's definitely going to be something where basically he's like has to deal with the fact that he screwed over a ton of ghosts and a ton of spirits that otherwise might go to heaven, basically. But those are just some thoughts from me off the top of my head, well, on a list. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think Kazui's overarching story will be in this? Do you think he goes to hell? Do you think that this portal, do you think he's being controlled? Or do you think he's just being manipulated, like, mentally? And it's like, oh, he's being tricked because he's naive? Do you think it's something else? Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments section. And if you enjoyed anything I had to say, make sure to leave a like. I would greatly appreciate that. I think that's all I've got to say. I went through my list here, and that's basically all there is. Yeah. We've already gone over him being tricked, and Xylopero coming out of the portal, and Hell Butterflies, and Ukitake's involvement, potentially. That's all I really got to say. So, again, let me know what you guys are thinking. I will see you guys in another video about, honestly, I forgot what it was about. Oh, the Kanso Reisai. I'm going to make a video about that, that whole ceremony, so make sure to keep an eye open for that. And also, go back and watch my Who We Might See video. I'll leave links and stuff like that. Go watch. Go watch. I will see you guys in another video soon. Goodbye.